Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. I'm continuing with featuring the Elegant Borders dies, which is an online exclusive. This time I'm using this border to create a gatefold card. So this is the card. When you open it inside, it looks like that, and then you can sign on the back. I've combined two bundles today because the framed florets bundle is unfortunately retiring and it's on the last chance list. It's such a pity because this is such a lovely set, and from the stamps to the fonts, and these are the floral images, and this cuts the ovals in such a variety of ways. There's this oval die. This one cuts out this detail here, and this one actually cuts this frame, but it also cuts the inside out. So then you get two frames out of one. And that's what I've done for this card. I took the inside out of die cutting this and embossed a panel in here. I did try to do it on the white and it didn't look as nice because this is soft succulent. I wanted the background just to meld into one. I also tried this frame here, but then it was too fussy to go with the border dies, so it was best to have something plain. But I did use the inside of this to back my oval frame from die cutting that, because they're two pieces, but if you cut one from here, then that will join the middle of this to the two frames here. Of course you have the dies for all the stamped images as well. So I'm sorry to see it go, and that's why I'm using it on this card today. So the dies I'm using from the framed florets will be this, this and this one. And the other bundle I'm using is Season of Chic. So these are the stamp set and these are the dies. And again, it's a two-step stamping method, and these are the extras in the die set that it will cut out. So this is seasonal. You've got the background dies and then the overlays. You've got snowflakes, and then of course you've got the shell and some floral bits and some leaves. So that would be good for autumn. This could be good for spring, and that's just for summer, and then you've got winter. So being a two-step stamping method, that's the background, that's the highlight, and then together it looks like this. Same with the flowers and the leaves. Snowflake stands on its own, and these are the background stamps you can use. So out of this set, I'm just going to use this one, which will die cut the shell. This is carrying over to the annual catalogue, but it won't be bundled anymore, so you won't get that 10% saving if you purchase the dies and the stamp set together. The papers I thought was really pretty, so I used that, and to tie it in with the paper, this is a two-step stamping method. I've stamped the shell and the background of the shell and then gold embossed it. To tie in the paper with the Texture Chic bit, and then I've done it on here as well, so that it ties everything in. The inks I'm using are Versamark, Soft Succulent, which is retiring, and Petal Pink. Tuxedo Black Memento ink. The stamping blends I'm using are Soft Succulent, again that's retiring, Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. I'm going to use the lighter of the two for the flower centres. Because that's a bit of embossing to do, I'm going to use the Embossing Additions toolkit, which includes the tray, a brush, the tweezers, an embossing buddy. The embossing powders I'm using are the metallics as well as the basics. So we're going to be using the white one for the inside of the card, and the gold one, that's gold, and then there's silver. And of course you need the heat tool. This is the one with the UK plug. I'm also using the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. A scrap of brushed metallic gold foil paper. The inside of the paper is from Texture Chic. This too is retiring. There's no discount on it, unfortunately. It's £14 for the pack of 12 by 12 inch sheets, and it's a specialty paper because it's got the gold foiling on it. So it's suitable for throughout the season, and there's 6 designs. I think I've got one missing. But we're going to be, yes, I've got one missing. It's this one, and this is the one we're going to be using with the shell on the back. So this piece has been cut at 4 inches by 6 inches. This card is bigger than normal because I wanted the whole of this border in for the gatefold. The die is 6 inches. Then you need 2 pieces of soft succulent for the gatefold. That's been cut at 3 inches by 6 inches, and in metric that will be 7.5 by 15 centimeters. For the back of the card, you need a piece that is a tad over 4 inches and by 6 inches. So that will be a tad over 7.5 centimeters by 15 centimeters. Then you need a strip of soft succulent, 1 1/4 by an A4 length, for the belly band, which is 3 centimeters by the A4 length. I've gone ahead and pre-die cut the frames I need. So with this one, I've cut 2. You can get 2 out of a 1/4 sheet. This die here for the backing for this piece. Need scraps of basic white to stamp and die cut the flowers and the shell. There's one, you need 2 of those, because there's one on the inside of the card as well, here. And a scrap of gold, brushed metallic gold foil to die cut the flower, not the flower, the leaf sprig. The reason why I haven't die cut the one for here and here is so that I can make sure that I get the writing straight. So because these are photopolymer stamps, I'm going to need a mat and my dust buddy. So I'll pop that there and stamp my sentiment. Ink up with Versamark, stamp in the middle. Sprinkle it with white embossing powder. And then heat emboss it. I'm doing it from underneath so that the powder won't fly away, but you can do either. You can do it from the top and from the bottom. Put it on my cutting sandwich, so I need platform 1, platform 2, the base platform 3. Pop this in and make sure the oval is straight. Then second platform 3, and I'll go and cut that off camera. Bring in my petal pink, and I'm going to stamp the solid image first. So ink that up, and I want to stamp off. And I need 2. I want to gold emboss, so I'm going to tap that with the embossing buddy to make sure there's no static. Then ink it up with Versamark. and stamp over it. This time gold embossing it, so sprinkle it with gold embossing powder. I'm going to tip it back into the jar. Now the reason why I haven't used the tray is because if I'm using lots of different coloured embossing powders, there might be a residue left in the tray and that will contaminate the different embossing powders. Now that's a little off the mark, but it doesn't matter because I was trying not to get my head into the camera. I couldn't really see where to emboss it. Wait for that to dry before I cut it so it doesn't smudge. So I've placed the die round the gold embossed bit rather than the pink bit, and then it won't be noticeable. Next I want to prepare the back of my card, which is this section here, so I can finish all the embossing. So first I need to stamp off. I'm using this background stamp. Stamp off a couple of times. And use this side as well. Then I can stamp the solid image in the first generation right here. Bring in the embossing buddy and tap it over the back of the cardstock. You need to wait for the ink to dry though, just in case you smudge it. Bring back the Versamark and I want to stamp over the top. I've sprinkled embossing powder over it. Now I'm going to heat emboss it. Doesn't that look lovely? Then glue it to the back of my card base. So apply adhesive to the back. Stay away from the edges because wet glue has a tendency to spread. And then leave a 1/8 of an inch border all round. Okay, set that aside. Next we want to stamp the floral image, and we'll need Tuxedo Black Memento ink for that. So I'm stamping this image here. And I'm going to colour it in. I'm going to speed this up. The centre of the flower with the light Calypso Coral, the Petal Pink combo and the soft succulent combo for the leaves. Remember to protect your work surface because the cardstock will bleed through, like here, and die cut that. But before I do that, I want to stamp my sentiment. Lay that down here so I know that it's straight. Then line up my block so it's straight with the grid paper. Now I want to stamp my sentiment, and I'll stamp it first before I die cut. Make sure that's straight and the oval is straight. And then I'll put washi tape on there to make sure the die doesn't move, and I'll cut it off camera. Now we want to create our gatefold. So you want to put your die, this die measures 6 inches, or is it a bit more? I don't know. 5 and 7/8. So with it, cutting it to 6 inches, it will just keep the pattern because that's just shy of the end of the die. So what you do in order to make sure that it's both the same, I tend to marry that edge up with the edge of the cardstock and this lowest edge of the curve with the edge of the cardstock over there. So pop the edge of the cardstock over there. So pop masking tape or painter's tape or washi tape, whatever you're using, on the die as well as the platforms to make sure it doesn't move. Then put your top cutting plate on top like so, and then run it through the machine, and you repeat for the other side. After a lot of trial and error, I found that the easiest way to get the gatefold to meet up was to put it on the scoreboard. So there's my 6-inch line, and this is equal, so this is 3 inches across, so it shouldn't extend beyond 9 inches or 3 inches. Okay, so that meets up in the middle. Stick it down with a post-it note. So I've stuck it down so it doesn't move, and that's sort of more or less buttered together, both on the 6-inch line and buttered up to the top. Then you can put that on, and that is 4 inches, so it should be between 4 inches. So then I want to score between 4 and the 8. Okay, burnish the lines. And I'm going to do both sides, so it makes it easier to bend. You put glue on the inside panel, stay away from the edges, and then pop that into the crease. Make sure that the top and the bottom is married up. Put adhesive on this one as well, and butt that up into the crease. Make sure the top and the bottom is aligned. Then it meets perfectly in the middle. Pit over to the other side, and you want to put adhesive across the top, bottom and the side. And that should fit over the card. Remember, you cut it a tad bigger to allow for the extra card which juts out from the side on the fold. Okay, so that's the front of your card with the gatefold. Now bring in our extras. Remember I said you needed the big one from inside there to attach to these two smaller ones, and you need 2 of these, one for the front and one for the back, and you can use those for something else. Let's assemble our elements. Now that one goes inside. Adhere that to the inside of the card. Leave an even border on both those sides, and I'm going to do the belly band. So have it across like that with a teeny weeny bit, say about 1/8 of an inch jutting out, and you fold. Okay, make sure that it's in line like so, then you can take it out and crease it. Remember the shells you embossed? I'll put this one inside. So I just want a tiny mini dimensional, because I want the inside one to be as flat as possible. Just pop it in the middle there. And you want it flush with the score line there so it doesn't show or it shows as little as possible, because you want that covered up when you put your belly band on. In the brushed metallic gold and pop that in there. Then you can put the belly band round. See, that goes in the aperture so it doesn't tear the belly band. Glue on the end here and glue on here. Make sure that's straight. Now we want to put the belly band on, so I'm going to apply adhesive to the top and the bottom and insert it inside the belly band. That's the back, so this is the front, and you want it equidistant. You place the other one on top. Like so. Make sure that it's married up. So pop that one inside and apply adhesive on this side and glue this one in. And you can see that this is loose, okay? So you need that to bond it together, because this is slightly larger than this oval here. So you want the right side facing up. So you put adhesive on the bottom. And slip it in there. And make sure that it's not jutting out anywhere, and that will anchor the belly band. Alright, now we want to decorate it, so put a large dimensional just in the middle to pop the shell up. Bend the flower a little bit and put dimensionals to the right of the shell, and take that off and stick that down. Pop your belly band on. Apply adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to move the flower up a bit. And then put this inside here. Hold it down while it bonds. So I'm going to tuck part of the leaf underneath and that on top to make it look more natural. And voila, the card is finished. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you liked it, then do give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. I'll be back with more inspiration next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.